Got my tea table. Mirror that. The knitting Hulkmobile is home. So I got my new book cover back. We pin the stickers because those are the most fun. So finally, I will have stable internet. So we're probably going to play the musical song. It should be pretty freezing this day. So we'll do some of that. We also have to go find a piercing place because my nose ring came out and I can't get it back in. These are my problems. Okay. But also, we have to steam all these collars we made while we were gone. My, wait, this is supposed to go with my outfit. Look, he's home. The driver. He's home. Thanks, friend. Hope you have a good day too. This one not go. Okay. Comment so much. Okay. Now I'm ready for the steam. So we're in a like magenta and ivory and teal phase. So we're making a bunch of, we have made a bunch of collars that go well with that. Now, just have to steam them up. So whenever you fiber arts something together, it's going to be tight. So then what you want to do is steam it up and stretch it into shape. Incidentally, if you shrink knitted clothes, like in your dryer by accident, you can steam them up and pull them a lot back into shape if you choose to do so. Oh, you made my salad. Excellent. Good, right? Yeah, you see why my kid loves salad. My kid once told me I was not allowed to not make a salad for dinner without informing her because it felt like I was canceling her sleepovers. Okay. Oh yeah, we pretty much have a salad every day for dinner. It's really one of the hardest things for me about moving to the US from Latin America was just how expensive produce is. But like I'll buy the mangoes over the candy every time. I guess they made such a series of great collars, and everyone's like, when are they gonna be for sale? And I'm like, I don't know. I like them all too much. Someone someone gave me this one. This is lapis, babe. This necklace that they gave me in Seattle.
Where? Over there.
The beads. Lapis lazuli. Only place that comes from naturally of Afghanistan. Um, and I realized at some point my husband had given me a necklace of it, but or a bracelet, but then it broke. Anyway, someone gave me this beaded necklace, and then I I immediately told him I was like, I'm gonna put yarn on it. And they were like, "Okay, good." We didn't know if it was, like, outlandish enough for you or whatever they said it was. I don't know that people are saying we are being alarmist. I think people are trying to explain the reality of how our country and our military works to people who are panicking. And people who are panicking are saying, "But we have a reason to panic." And we are saying, "Yes, you do. But let's panic about the right things." And you're saying, "But we have a reason to panic." And we're saying, "But this is not how it works." And you're like, "Ah, that's what it feels like to me." All I'm trying to do is explain to people how the military works. That's all I've been doing since January. And all I get is people, civilians, yelling at me that I'm wrong. Like I just made this video from a YouTube comment where someone's like, all you got to do is find the right military unit that'll work for him. No, that hasn't been our military since the Civil War. They literally geographically abused us all around the place. I never once said they wouldn't have weapons. Sit the fuck down. You do not get to weaponize my words unless you go find those fucking words. I'm very careful with my words. I said they would not turn weapons on the American people. That means they will not There we go. Now I figured it out. Hello. Okay. So hopefully these two are not going to echo off of each other. All right. And so Brian Pitts until the storm passes, which was so this was one of the most interesting parts, right? So he's like, the title comes from someone, a young, like super politician, right? So the politicians were against the military kind of during the dictatorship, the political class, then there's the military class, right? The military class takes over because they're like, you all don't just have a right to rule us. And the political class is like, hey, we have a right to rule you. And eventually he makes this argument that political class, by not resisting, just by being self-serving politicians, take down the military class. Because the whole point of military rule is supposed to be that nobody is political. You only do what is best for the country, right? But politicians gonna politician. So the political class just continuing to act in their own best service eventually take down the military dictatorship in a bloodless sort of coup. Not sort of, in a bloodless coup. Um, all right. So, but one of the things that was interesting, right? So there was this young politician who was like, I want to go stand in front of tanks, whatever, right? And this older politician, Tancredo Neves, who later became the president, whose bus I used to ride all the time growing up in Brazil, uh, Tancredo Neves says to him, "Hey, wait for the storm to pass." Right? And I, of course, connect to this because this is has been part of my message, where it's like, you're waiting to see what happens. We are waiting to see the pushback. It is not always to the best benefit to go stand in front of the tanks. Sometimes it is. I might go burn a flag on the Capitol tomorrow, you know, but like they released the veteran that okay, they arrested a veteran for burning the flag. They charged him with lighting a fire in a public park, which is illegal, and let him go. Um, and it is not totalitarianism, not yet. It is trying to be. It is, in fact, impossible to have a totalitarian government with an armed population, and it is temporally impossible to disarm America. So, almost certainly, we will never get to full totalitarianism, even if we did get to dictatorship. So, if you don't even really know the terms you're talking about, you probably shouldn't be trying to gotcha the expert on bad guys and totalitarian rulers. Okay. Second book recommendation. These were just ones that I had in my house, y'all. The Brazil Reader, History, Culture, and Politics. There's specifically, I'm going to be doing some videos on this tomorrow, Seeking Democracy and Equity. Rehearsal for the Coup, the Military Regime, excerpts from the 1967 Brazilian Constitution. What else is very interesting about Brazil is since they took down the dictatorship, they have made it a more full democracy than America. Part of that's with mandatory voting, by the way. But they have, and Brian Pitts talks about this, like developed a lot more freedoms and social programs and safeties in many ways than we have here, right? So, uh, Until the Storm Passes by Brian Pitts, Brian with a Y. That was the first one. The second one is the Brazil Reader, History, Culture, Politics. Um, Probably very expensive. It's like a college textbook, but if you can get it through something or through something, a school membership maybe. If not, I will be reading some excerpts of it. And then I have a concise history of Brazil by Boris Fausto, professor of political science at the University of Sao Paulo, Brazil. Again, something I've had in my house for a long time, published by Cambridge University Press. Um, Interesting to read about the rise to democracy, the rise to dictatorship. And again, with an armed population. Brazil is one of the few other countries that went into dictatorship with people owning personal weapons, and also with the size again, right? So he was explaining like the Chilean and Argentine dictatorships were very bloody, right? Very violent. In the Brazilian dictatorship, only about 3 to 500 people were killed throughout 21 years. So it wasn't as violent as some of these American dictatorships that we are used to hearing about. A Concise History of Brazil by Boris Fausto, The Brazil Reader, History, Culture, and Politics. And then the other one, I have it on Kindle, and I'm on both my devices, but it's called, damn it, what did I say it was called? Yeah, Until the Storm Passes. Um, hmm, yeah, yeah. Basically, the only message I've been trying to give you all about the military this entire time is there's not going to be this dramatic, like, "We're on the Americans," and then people are just going to, like, soldiers are just going to start shooting you. Like, no, you're not allowed to use them. And every soldier can make that decision for himself. Even if something like that did happen, it's just as likely one of us would someone like me in the crowd is just going to turn their weapon and take out the guy screaming fire. Like, we are not that kind of army anymore. This is I just made a video on this about the Dunning-Kruger effect of, like, people with the military. Someone being like, "You just gotta find the right unit." No, it's almost like the modern US military has prepared for not repeating something like the Civil War, and they mix this all around so that units don't have personalities. Officers don't I mean, units do have personalities, but not political leanings. Officers do not get to cultivate big political followings, which is things like allow you to then have military dictators. You did have that in Brazil. You do not have that in the United States. So never once have I told you all not to worry. I changed my whole life a decade ago when a cult leader took over America the first time. And I have written not one, but two books about it. I have been worried much longer than you have. I promise you. What I have been saying is when you actually understand what is going on and how this stuff works, you're going to be better informed and better able to push back. Okay. America isn't any other country. America is America. And we have different things in place. Nobody was suing Hitler for using the Gestapo. Okay. Washington, D.C. is suing Donald Trump for um, taking over the police. The veteran that was arrested for burning the flag was just released. And he's going to be charged with starting a fire in a park, which is not a felony. Okay. If this was a dictatorship, that person would be gone and you wouldn't be shit talking them on the internet. Right? They're trying to get there. Like I have said since day one, he is going to test every check and balance of America. It's legal for him to send armed National Guard to your state. So he's going to do it. He said he was going to do it during his election. It is not legal for him to say, shoot these Americans. And if he says it, nobody has to follow him. And if they do, the answer is not go yell at the lady on the internet who's trying to help us understand this. The answer is pick up your fucking weapons and go to war against your tyrannical government. Okay? And any of you want to join me at this veteran sit in tomorrow, that's where I'll be. Hey, enjoy your breakfast. Oh, yeah. I don't know why we think yell at the knitting lady is the answer to everything. Especially the knitting lady who has not been wrong about one thing since election day. Just like a weird, weird hill for y'all to die on. I am in DC. Yes, that is where I live. And now I am home. My cereal soggy enough for me to freak out all my American viewers. Yeah. All they want is to come here and just be like, you were wrong, you were wrong. Yeah, friends, my crystal ball's in the shop. Nobody knows what's going to happen next. And anyone telling you they do is lying to you. Basically, the best thing you can ask for is a day by day threat assessment from somebody who has some perspective on what's going on. And hey, it's free. All you have to do is not yell at her. Can't admit mistakes. Yeah, I apologize like every 5 months for doing something shitty, usually from being a white woman. What you're confusing with is your opinion with my expertise, and those are not the same thing. Have a day. Stickers in the shop. Mm, y'all think I'm going to be offended by that, but you're typing money into my bank account right now, and the most beautiful people have androgynous faces. Have a day. Stickers in the shop. Have a day. You can insult me all you want, but you're just giving me your money. Thank you so much. Have a day. Mm, I know. See, so you can't offend someone by implying that they're trans unless if that person thinks being trans is not a bad thing. You can't offend me by calling me trans because being trans is awesome. Trans people are great. You should try getting to know some. Oh, I do have cats. I do. I do. And both of these pussies have more combat time than you do. Have a day. Thanks for your hate money. Y'all wanted to see her? Whew. Silly billies. I don't think you can hurt a cult survivor and woman veteran by calling names. Come on. Come on. You caught a stray because that is a question I am asked by misogynists every day to imply that I'm a crazy cat woman. So that's my standard answer to when people ask me if I have cats. Sometimes people legitimately say the same thing as trolls, and then in that case, you're probably going to get a troll response. Hmm. You sound like you're in somebody else's room wasting your life. So I'm out here doing my job and making bonkers money on the internet. We are not the same. I mean, yeah, great. I believe you that you like cats. The question that you asked me is a question that I'm asked dozens of times a day by trolls. So that's how it gets answered. The veteran did get released from DC. He's charged with lighting a fire in a park. These are not the things that tend to happen in totalitarian dictatorships, right? We are not there yet. They are trying. America's pushing back. Oh, I'm having a great day. It's not personal. This is actually not about you. This is my channel. And I'm great unless people are insulting. And you accidentally asked a question that if you were trying to be legit, you would have just let it go and been like, oh, okay, I get it now. Thank you for educating me. But you're not. You are a troll because you're still going. So thanks for not letting us down today. Have a day. This is too easy, as they say in the army. If your job is not being a creator on the internet and then a creator tells you this is a common thing trolls say to me, okay. End of conversation. Sorry, I didn't know that. That's what the legitimate followers do. I do have a teacher attitude. That's because I'm a great teacher. What I do every day and make great money to do so, unfortunately, unlike most American teachers. It's the first thing I identified. I was like, I like teaching adults. Adults. Yeah, and then they're just gone. I don't really know how far he'll get. Like, not all the way, right? I don't know of one dictator who took power with only like 30% popularity. I don't know one cult leader who was successful forcing two-thirds or more of members to be in the cult, forcing them against their will, the way we are forced to be in this American cult right now. Like, nobody was suing Hitler for using the Gestapo. Students that were arrested in by Pinochet were not released with a misdemeanor charge, like the veteran who was just arrested was, right? They're doing stuff. Cult leader's gonna cult, and tyrant's gonna tyrant. And then it matters whether the people push back. Hitler was in fact floored by the fact that the Austrians didn't push back. And so he did more. You all think that people, oh, I've written a musical. This is my song from it. I'm going to sing to you. The only full song that has been written. Have a Day is going to be the bop. It's that tune that I sang to him. Have a day. Who won hooray? Da 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 da. Have a day. Pull up my script. And I gotta tune the guitar. And then we'll be ready to go. My computer's dead. Thielen Miller can't control the call. People keep trying to gotcha and be like, well, Peter Thiel picked Shady Vance. I'm like, yeah, he picked wrong. He made a bad choice. That's what I'm telling you. Just ask Elon Musk how easy it is to buy charisma. Mm. Just ask him how that goes. See, you have to have a personality to take over a cult of personality, and neither Vance nor Teal nor Musk nor Stephen Miller has that. Yeah. JD Vance becoming president is literally the best thing that could happen to us. Plus, I would get to make so many Marine jokes. I mean, enlisted Marine becomes president of the United States. Oh my gosh. The cartoons we will draw of Marines eating crayons. Yeah, nobody's following Stephen Miller. Like, this is what people fail to understand. People are like, well, they just needed a figurehead. Yeah, well, then the figurehead is important to the figure, right? The figurehead is not just fungible. I think they thought he was going to be a patsy who was easily controllable. And instead, he took their cults and folded them into his cult of personality. Um, but in no way is he unnecessary to the continuation of all of this. And by the way, it's still falling apart. Like, they still haven't given them a new mission. They just took away the mission and then mocked their base. And now they're trying to say it was a democratic hoax. Like, so it's still not a given that they can give their people a new mission and stop it all from falling apart. And it doesn't actually seem like they're trying that hard. Maybe that's because they think, like some of you seem to think, that, like, oh, it's a done deal. We're just dictators now. And like, the Brazilian military was floored when they lost the election that took them out of power. Hello from Philly. Okay. Now We gotta find the script because I'm still memorizing it because y'all keep adding lines. But it's kind of supposed to be growy. People are now saying maybe this whole show is just me with some puppets, but I don't know about that. All right. Oh, and I gotta put my capo on. So it goes like this. The lieutenant comes in and she's like, "Company, attention. All right, listen up. What we're about to learn is called a cadence, a call and a response. It's how we march without thinking, except when the president tries to throw himself a dictator parade. Y'all know what I mean. It's how we keep ourselves in line, keep our mouths. See, repetition wires the brain. You chant it enough times, you don't just believe it, you become it. Left foot, right foot, left foot, obedience. But all the infantry gals just thought kill. Cadence isn't just about marching, it's about rhythm, it's about unity. A lot of them are about rape. Whoops. It's about saying the same thing at the same time in the same voice, in perfect synchrony, until your own voice disappears. That's how you break someone. And that's how you build an army. Are you ready for it? Now, you haven't heard this yet, so don't try to sing along. This doesn't sound like it's on tune. When I say, is it a call? Is it a call? Do you say, call it what you want to? Is it a call? Is it a call? Call it what you want. But now we're gonna set it to a sick beat. Oh, oh, call it what you want. Call it what you want to. I'm gonna figure out this tuning thing. Something's not right. All right. Right. Now again. But like your mom finally is letting you question authority. Oh wait, I have to take out my head, don't I? Is it a call? Is it a call? Is it a call? Call it what you want. Call it what you want to. Not liking it with the capo today. What is wrong with my guitar? didn't end up getting to meet because she was in a different part of the country with her college kids going back to school. But we did see like 40 people in Portland, which was cool. So it goes. Why is this happening to me? I feel like it's user error, not the guitar. But it sounds right when I do it. Get the other one. Oh my gosh, I have nobody who can help me. Because nobody here plays guitar except me. That string doesn't know if it's an E or a B right now. See, that sounds right. But then when I start playing it, it sounds wrong. Am I doing it wrong? I could have my finger on the wrong string. I think that's better. All right. I don't know. I don't know about this today. Hello, Tatiana. Good day. I'm trying to play A minor. Or A. Is that A with all three fingers? Something's just that string. I mean, it was an adventure. If I had an opportunity to relocate to Rio, I would go. And I don't even like Rio very much. But like Brazil is lovely. Show the left hand. I'm trying to do this. So A and then these two. Yeah. Am I playing the chord wrong? I don't know what that means. Back one. So I'm supposed to be here? That sounds right. That sounds more correct. Alright, so we go. Call it what you want. Call it what you want to. Alcoholics Anonymous. Call it what you want to. Call it what you want. Call it what you want to. Jehovah's Witnesses. Norway says you're a shining cult. Call it what you want. Call it what you want to. Military wrote some books about that air assault. Call it what you want. Call it what you want to. I never remember to sing the song the same way twice. Call it what you want. Call it what you want to. So don't worry, I'll be just like that Mormon guy. Call it what you want. Call it what you want to. It'll be the same, just in slightly different words. Call it what you want. Call it what you want to.
Don't even think about saying, hey, that's so absurd. Call it what you want. Call it what you want to. Salvation Army, it's a homophobic cult. Call it what you want. Call it what you want to. Homeschoolers, Jesus and secular, y'all. Call it what you want. Call it what you want to. MLMs are commercial cults. Call it what you want. Call it what you want to. Mary Kay and Avon, it doesn't work at all. Call it what you want. Call it what you want to. This part is, the crowd is supposed to be doing that part, of course. Mormons believe the FLDS are worse than men. Call it what you want. Call it what you want to. And nothing is good if it's only liked by men. Call it what you want. Call it what you want to. Tesla and SpaceX, Doge, call it what you want to. Call it what you want. Call it what you want to. State of Texas, call it what you want to. Call it what you want. Call it what you want to. Catholics, don't you know that evangelicals hate you? Call it what you want. Call it what you want to. Bezos and Musk sending penis rockets to the moon. Call it what you want. Call it what you want to. Yellow Deli, it's a child labor cult. Call it what you want. Call it what you want to. Oh my God, stop eating their fucking sandwiches, y'all. Call it what you want. Call it what you want to. The 2x2s is a cult that had a schism. Call it what you want to. Call it what you want to. And a brainwashing tactic called the buddy system. Call it what you want to. Call it what you want to. La luz del mundo, llámala como quieras. Call it what you want. Call it what you want to. Y testemunho de Jehová, Brasil é uma seita. Call it what you want. Call it what you want to. Eugenics, vegan, death cult, Seventh-day Adventists. Call it what you want. Call it what you want to. And cults hate the doctor and the dentist. Call it what you want. Call it what you want to. P. Diddy and R. Kelly, those are sex cults, y'all. Call it what you want. Call it what you want to. And how about the Epstein list, that thing that's making MAGA fall? Call it what you want. Call it what you want to. Scientology, I'm sure you want to sue me. Call it what you want to. Call it what you want to. New agey ladies, whoops, they're gonna come for me. Call it what you want to. Call it what you want to. I know we did the military, now just the Marines. Call it what you want to. Call it what you want to. I'm J.K. Rowling, why you gotta be so mean? Call it what you want to. Call it what you want to. Burning Man, I wanna get high to. Call it what you want to. Call it what you want to. Uncle Sam, I don't wanna fight for you. Call it what you want to. Call it what you want to. Agents of imperialism, called missionaries. Call it what you want to. Call it what you want to. And all that sun sign stuff, Gemini and Aries. Call it what you want to. Call it what you want to. Knitting cult lady, call her what you want to. Call me what you want to. Call me what you want to. And finally, Shan, you call it what you want to. I gotta get better at the ending. Usually to be played with my reputation pick. If you know, you know. So that's one of my songs that I know how to play. And I also know how to play. You know what? I can get better at being rough with practice, but when you play to 500,000 people every day, then, we'll come laugh at you. I stay out too late, got nothing in my brain. That's what people say. That's what people say. Man, why am I forgetting the words of Shake It Off? I stay out too late, got nothing in my brain. That's what people say. That's what people say. I go on too many days that I can't make them stay. At least that's what people say. Mm-mm. That's what people say. Mm-mm. But I keep moving. Can't stop, won't stop moving. It's like I got this music in my mind saying it's gonna be alright. 'Cause the players in the play, 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 play. Haters in the hate, 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 hate. I'm just gonna shake, 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 shake. Shake it off, shake it off. Heart breakers in the break, 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 break. And the fakers in the fake, 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 fake. Just gonna shake, 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 shake. Shake it off, shake it off. Right. So, that was my song. It was, of course, inspired by Tay-Tay's song. And the fact that I don't know how to play Hal on Tay-Tay's song when I wrote my song. So, naturally got patterned off of each other. And now I have to look at the proofreader. Now I'm just be proofreading. I think sports teams can be culty. I wrote this whole book called The Culting of America, in which I'm trying to show you that all of our organizations have been made cult. I'm going to get the cover of the new book, which you can get in the shop. Oh, and there's actually a way to tag it to the live, which I should do. Oh, Culting. Should be good enough to find it. There we go. Here's all the pre-sale packages of Culting of America. So I get asked this in two different ways of like, I pinned one, but there's a whole bunch. Of like, are sports fans a cult? Right? Or what I really get asked the most is, are Swifties a cult? Because we like to demonize anything women and children like, um, especially women and girls. But no, it's an identity, right? Just like Christian or Patriots fan. Now, can you make a cult around identities? Yes. And can your identity always be used to manipulate you? Yes. Um, Jenna Miscavige's book has been out since I was 22. Um, no, this idea that telling everything about a cult ends a cult is never what happens. It's always what everybody hopes for. It's not what happens. Unless they convince the government to go in and get them for labor trafficking or abuses like they did for Keith Raniere. Jen Miscavige's book was a fundamental book for me when I was 22, which is how I know it was out then. And I'm now 38, so it's been out for at least that many years. It is amazing that she's like on TikTok now telling stuff, and like every little bit of explaining cults is going to help, but no, they will still have a Scientology recruiting center in the middle of Times Square. No, we are not cooked, and this language of "are we cooked" really is helping them, and it's part of the white panic that I'm talking about. Like, even if it was like full dictatorship today, soldiers marching down every street, then we figure out how to resist that. White Americans have become very complacent, which is having a system of government that just works. Um, the musical is, well, the concept script is complete, so I can send it to people. Um, and
Um, I performed it and it's on YouTube. Yeah, no, we're not cooked. I do think creative jobs, like, I think it's funny that it's gonna come around to like creativity and being an artist being the thing that robots can't replace. Um, will be fun for me. Okay. Workbook. Wait, okay, we gotta pause you. Um, my dog is back. Um, yep, the arts have always been political. Fiber arts have always been political. I love it. Like every once in a while, some meme or something I do will go viral in like a knitting group, and someone will try to be like, "Excuse me, can we just keep this apolitical?" And I get to be like, "Actually, no, we can't." I love the knitting spies of World War One and Two. Oh, and I have a sticker, one of the stickers in my sticker pack that's pinned. Says knitting is Morse code. So it's I knit so I don't oof people. Knitting is Morse code. Knitting Cult Lady brand sticker that you can read from all the angles. Cults always promise space travel and have a day, but I don't. I think that coffee mug is still in my knitting cult mobile. Um, yeah, I mean, to me, I think the coolest thing about the knitting spies is that both sides for both wars, like both sides were using knitting spies, right? Which means both the British and the Germans knew about it, but their little all straight white male armies like didn't were not catching the knitting spies, and it's just like I tell people like you see me like I would be almost exactly the same in 1942 on a train with my little wicker basket, knitting basket. And you come search me and you're going to see a knitting pattern, yarn, and a person knitting. And it never crossed their mind that, like, I don't need a pattern, right? That's just the message. Right? 'Cause boys just don't. Men just shouldn't be in the military. Oh, so in my musical, right, so the second half, I'm going to be Georgiana W. Bush in a crochet flight suit with a banner, knitted banner that says we did it, and I'm gonna be calling out the military. And I wrote all these jokes, but it's like really impossible, especially since I literally wrote a book about how horrible the military treats women. It's really impossible to write funny jokes that hit without people going default male. So I decided all of the characters in the second half are going to be female soldiers. Even the male characters are going to be female soldiers. And if the idea of them being in drag bothers you, I don't care because I had to go to war dressed like a man for 18 months. Um, yeah. And the um, lieutenant who plays the main character is going to be a trans man, and it's going to be very obvious because they're going to be in the door knocker song as a man, and then in the rest of the play as a woman, and then at the end they'll get to unmask to be themselves. Um, and it this came about because I was thinking of a specific person who I wanted to play in it, and they're a trans man. And then I was like, oh, that's what I've been trying to explain for so many years is that, like, that's what we are to society. Military women to civilian society, just a little bit trans, just a little bit too masculine. And in fact, I've always said it's fun to watch women get out of the military because they just like feminize.
in ways that can be hard to explain. My voice goes back down to its middle register, right? I can do the Michelle Duggar cult lady voice, and I can also do Captain Mestenak and get the attention of any room. All right, so okay, we need one more sentence about charismatic leaders. And I'm just going to pull it from the giant chapter I wrote on charismatic leaders. So what it says right now is, hang on, let me get my knitting. These are going to be a lot of days of reading to the internet, y'all. So strap in. It's a hard job. Somebody's got to do it. Yes, drag is art, and I'm basically going to be like Georgiana Bush is supposed to look like a drag queen, and I'm going to be in drag. It's going to be excellent. Um, all right, so charismatic leaders captivate people with their charm and confidence. They inspire devotion and often become the centerpiece of a group's identity. They claim to see what you can't. They offer clarity in chaos, and they make you feel like you belong to a story that matters. However, this magnetism can blur boundaries, so followers may overlook red flags and surrender their personal agency. I think I'm going to put one more thing about charisma not being charm. So let me go find a copy of Culting of America. Go to charismatic leaders. Oh, I'm so excited for y'all to read this book. And then I'm going to put it in Spanish. I'm excited about that too. Mm. Charisma, kitchen. Deposited. Max Weber deposited that humans needed charisma to replace the disenchantment we felt as a result of advancing so much that we lost the concept of magic in our lives. It's just a sentence I really like, so I'm going to put it in there. Mm. Now I'm so confused. I actually think I was supposed to download this. I'm going to download it and make my changes off of the shared drives. It's fun when you get yourself in trouble with people who work for you. It's not fun. I don't like it. So we're going to put in, oh, Control Z, editor, not editing, revealing. Yeah. Okay. However, okay. We need a line about how charisma should not be confused with charm. Good morning, New York. Saw my JW video. Oh yeah. That's so interesting. How do I become an officer in the army? There's not women's section and men's section except in the Marines. Their training, I believe, still is segregated by gender. The rest of us were not segregated. So I went and I came in through a program that's called direct commission.
when you heard about the Palantir guys being given commissions as lieutenant colonel, that is also the direct commission program. If this happens at every level, mine was you can be a lieutenant because you have a college degree. So I went to regular basic training at Fort Jackson, then I went to 12 weeks of officer school at Fort Benning, Georgia, the Fort Benning School for Boys, as they call it, and it is. Uh, I describe it as 12 weeks of hazing, like basic training, actually breaking you, but also teaching you to be a soldier. OCS, Officer Candidate School, 12 weeks of hazing. And if you can put up with this, we'll give you a commission and call it leadership school. So, yeah, it's fun. And then I was a second lieutenant, and there's this ceremony that's kind of like, um, I describe it as like an NFL branching ceremony meets military. We have a song in the musical that's like a Mormon missionary ceremony meets Army branching ceremony. Anyway, I got military intelligence because I was a fast runner. And then I went to what's called basic officer leadership course. Um, and then I went to military spy school, military center for excellence. And then I went to war twice. And yes, it was hard, and it's harder for women because you're being told women are horrible and awful, and you gotta be better than everyone, and you have to prove yourself harder, and then you get more broken. There's a definite misunderstanding that women are weak in combat. I wrote a whole book about that. I was one of the first women on a deliberate ground combat team. And yeah, that is all part of the story of Uncultured. And then, how it broke us. Had this line in the musical and in Uncultured. Here we are trying to not to bleed to death from the shards of the glass ceiling we helped to shatter. I went to Kandahar for a year, and I went to Bagram for 6 months. Both of those are in Afghanistan. I was air intelligence, which also means you understand ground stuff. And I was also played games with the infantry. So went on patrols. How did I deal with the fragile masculinity of my colleagues? I beat them at everything when I wrote a best-selling book about it. And I still remember all of the sounds I collected of men's souls dying when I passed them on a hard run. Just sounds like, oh, wow. Would come up to me afterwards and be like, oh man, I was like running so hard and I couldn't keep up. And he's looking at me like, Sergeant, you run 8-minute miles. I run 5-minute miles. Like we're not doing the same thing here. We're not benching in the same weight class. Just run your race. And the one of the lines, so we talk about how did I deal with fragile masculinity. Hang on, hang on. Now I got to find the actual line. One of the lines that I'm most proud of getting in the book. is this. Hey, LT, you know how you're always blabbing all that girl power shit? Sergeant First Class Krasinski, who we only called Sergeant K, strolled into our intelligence office in Kandahar, Afghanistan, waving his four-fingered hand in the air in my general direction, as if there were any question to whom he spoke. Sergeant K, I quipped, are you still pissed that nobody has been able to prove to me that they can do a push-up with their penis, and therefore have fundamentally failed to defend to any reason there should be a combat ban against women according to the Army's own physical standards? Yeah. And when I got to Harvard, the first paper that I wrote was just like a systematic takedown of the combat ban and literally everything they say. And now, how I'm dealing with my colleagues' fragile masculinity is that the second half of my musical, which is in the military, all of the characters are going to be women, even though some of the actors are going to be men. And that's partially because I don't think men should be in the military. Yeah, I'm happy to explain that. Because the main reason that men give for not having women in combat is that they will lose their military bearing and get distracted and go try to save them or rape them, right? That'd be too distracting. And I don't think we should have to say you're not supposed to rape your colleagues.
First of all, women just get that. Even though almost all of us are assaulted, we tend not to pass it down and do it to each other. And even though the men are almost all assaulted as well, they are passing it down to each other. So clearly, reason number one, men shouldn't be in the military. Reason number two, you are not supposed to stop shooting and sacrifice your life for a colleague, any colleague, regardless of what junk they have in their pants. None of them. We are highly, highly trained to not go to a wounded colleague until the bullets have stopped. Okay. Number three, you're telling me that men are so emotional and hysterical that they're going to lose their military bearing and either sacrifice their lives or rape somebody in combat? Yeah, men shouldn't be in the military. Like, we just don't have these problems when it's only women. Thank you. So hysterical. The doc's a Republican, so he's naturally upset about my theory that men should not be in the military. But it's Scarpigan. Yeah, and if you want, there's a in the link in the shop. I know it's on YouTube, so I think it's in my shop. I have a PDF pattern and it has all three ways that I make scarf again. So there's like this one, the slouch again, just the traditionally cut up one, and then there's the one where I just wrap the edges and make it. Um, yeah, I mean, he's all for head of household voting though. Like he thinks he's the one in charge. Um, you can call it a ridiculous hypothesis all day. I'm the one that gets invited to speak to 12 NATO countries about how to end rape culture in the military, not you. Have a day. Stickers attached. Oh my God. He got into a fight with a liberal Democrat woman cat, and he got so butt hurt. And by that, I literally mean a deep cat scratch on the butt. He did not win that fight. I don't know why he thought he was going to. It's like all these bros that come for me. It was great. He needed to learn. They're sending Marines to Los Angeles again. Ready? Wait for all the people coming to scream, I told you so at me. Tell me how I was wrong. Wait for it. Wait for it. All right. Now it says this. This is the intro to your deconstruction workbook chapter on charismatic leadership. Charismatic leaders captivate people with their charm and confidence. They inspire devotion and often become the centerpiece of a group's identity. They claim to see what you can't. They offer clarity in chaos, and they make you feel like you belong to a story that matters. Max Weber posited that humans needed charisma to replace the disenchantment we felt as a result of advancing so much that we lost the concept of magic in our lives. Charisma shouldn't be mistaken for charm. It isn't just likability, it's a kind of magnetism, a pull that feels almost supernatural, drawing people in whether or not they want to be. However, this magnetism can blur boundaries. So followers may overlook red flags and surrender their personal agency. And once you give up your agency, you're no longer steering your own life. You're just along for the ride, wherever the leader decides to take you. Yes, I feel like it's on. Jesus doing for Chicago. Yeah. I was like, he's sending guard to 19 states. First of all, he's sending 1,700 guard members to 19 different states. That's like 90 people per or something. And like, okay, 19 states people get to push back now. Like, good luck with Chicago. And what were the two? Chicago and Boston were like two that supposedly he was gonna go. Like, no, no, no. I've heard that in the NL Army, that things are definitely worse for women in the officer school than enlisted training centers. What is NL? Um, it really depends about what you think, like what counts as worse. Worse because you're isolated, held to much, much higher standards, and given a ton of pressure. Yes. Worse because it's worse to be lower enlisted because you have less power, so you're just much more abused by everyone, and enlisted women have less power than enlisted men. Um, but no, I don't think it's worse than sexual assault. I think all of us it's just everyone we know. Okay, switch design stuff. Senor, like skinny white woman questions. Just one you saw. Okay, I didn't miss anything. We are proofreading our, well, you missed the musical song, actually. Yep, he made it back last night. Mr. Knitting Heart Lady got back at like 10 p.m. He dropped us off in Salt Lake City at basically noon on Saturday, and then made it back to Washington, D.C. by Monday night. In time for the first day of school, which was today. So you're my favorite troll that gives me hate money with your comments. So, yay. We're just both here loving each other. Mm. Yes, that guitar playing thing I was doing. Okay, so the cultiness spectrum, evaluating sacred assumptions. Yeah, then you miss nothing. We're just here. Section 3 is transcendent mission. You know, the thing that MAGA doesn't have anymore, a mission. Your cult falls apart when you don't have a mission, by the way. And they haven't even really been trying. Like sometimes you can transition to a new mission, but they haven't even really been trying. Uh, literally, all track changes are on.
can disguise its actual. Don't understand. Like everything is on. Track changes. Oh, all track changes are supposed to be on. I'm so confused. And disguise its actual negative intentions. Coerce and manipulate you in order to steal your labor down the line. Understanding the ways that wait for permission. A high control group you were a part of weaponized its mission, often something political or charity related. It's not political, but like nonprofit, but also religion. What's the word I'm looking for? Political or philosophical? No, it's a P word. Somebody will figure it out. Oh, honey, if you think I'm trying to be a cult leader, it's weird that you're here. Don't knowingly give cult leaders access to you. The day. It's so funny. People get so upset with popular, successful women. It's like just as boring to call a cult expert a cult leader as it is to tell a military intelligence person that military intelligence is an oxymoron. Like, stop, come up with better digs. You're Dunning Krugering all over the place. Nobody wants that. You're showing how much you don't understand cults when you accuse someone of being a cult leader just for being popular on the internet. It's weird. Nobody wants to see it. But also, if you know so much about cults, go start your own channel. Thanks. Have a day. Um, and asked you to change your identity, influenced their choices, and overrode is crucial to healing. Okay. I just want to point out that people really like this line when I say it on the interwebs. And remember that in post cult life, it's okay for your mission to be just you. My editor folks don't like it, but wait, why did I just disappear?
First thing you do to become a cult leader is brainwash your people. So you have to get people isolated into isolation and then run a brainwashing program on them, which generally consists of pain, bathroom control, fatigue, small acts of kindness, lots of isolation, and reinforcing systems of isolation. Um, this is basic training in the US military. This is all kinds of things. Taking someone to an Eras tour and then off to go be manipulated. This is how I end the book is showing you how like it was a income it was a like the Eras tour could be a great opening, softening event for people, but that only matters if someone's coming to manipulate you. Yes, about Katrina. I know the information about the helicopters because I was an Army helicopter intelligence officer, and we have products about the fire that they took. So I know people say that that's like a racist story. I was the intelligence officer. And it's also like, it seems like a fine line to draw, but like, yes, many of them were just shooting in the air to get the helicopter's attention. But when you are shooting in the air, you will get the helicopter's attention and they will not come near you because you're shooting in the air. So it like became this own problem where like the helicopters couldn't keep going in because of people shooting in the air. It's a very similar thing we had in Afghanistan where it was like part of our job as intelligence officers was to know all of the big political or special or religious or whatever events because a lot of things, even something as simple as a wedding party, can result in Afghans going outside and firing in the air. And you don't want to have that happening with helicopters at the same time. Um, so what kind of people do we think are vulnerable? Accept it. This is now the chapter on self-sacrifice, which is how they break you. That's like all involved in how you break someone. Um, so yeah, with the cult leader. And by the way, sorry, the first thing I would do if I was trying to be a cult leader is figure out what the transcendent mission is. Cults always promise space travel, right? So what, because people don't just follow a person, right? So like what is the mission that you have? And this is why I always say, like, when I don't understand what somebody's angle is, I'm a lot more skeptical. People being like, "You're a cult leader because you're trying to sell a book." Like, do you walk into Costco and accuse it of being a cult because it's trying to sell you stuff? No. Like, if it's not deceptive selling, it's like, yes, I have an agenda, which is buy my books. That's my agenda. As long as people keep buying my books, I can keep educating people on cults forever. Right. So it's like, that's the whole agenda. In a cult, you're gonna have some sort of mission. For example, if I had all of you going door to door selling my books for me, that would be very upset. That would be very not okay. Any version of door knocking for an organization is exploitation of your labor. Yeah, because of a corporate, like right now, I'm having to pay out the wazoo for book marketing. Like when you're getting free marketing, one of the reasons both Taylor Swift and Trump are the people they are is because they've had so much free marketing from the media focusing on them. They estimated Taylor Swift has had $10 billion of free marketing because the media loves her so much, loves to hate her, loves to love her, all of the things. It's all good. But like when I bring this up, people really forget about door knocking requirements. And definitely looking at Mormons. And like again, it's always about the labor. But like at the time when he came up with Mormonism, the excuse of like we don't pay our religious leaders so that people can't be exploitative and corrupt and blah blah blah. Well, like in the 1800s, that was the thing people really cared about. As we were going through these big awakenings. So again, like it was never valid, like, that wasn't the actual reason, like, he did it because he wanted free labor and to build a whole thing, but, like, they can always sell it to you with a reason. I've been knitting for as long as Jesus was alive, and I've been waiting to be 38 to be able to say that. It's 33 years. The "it was never about the shoulders" tank means something very significant to the ex-Mormons and probably nothing to you if you're not an ex-Mormon. But Mormon women have never been allowed to show their shoulders, which was controlled by their sacred underwear, their Jesus jammies, if you will, having these cap sleeves. And then people and then having to wear clothes to cover that. So they just changed that, and actually they got forced to change it. They were trying to just do it for tropical cultures, and somebody very high up in the Australian leadership used their email account to send it out to everyone in the church. But anyway, so like my first thought was like, "Oh no, I feel so bad for all my ex-Mormon sibs from another crib because they're gonna lose their shoulders, you know, like, when I put my clothes together, I always do a video without the shoulders on, and I'm like, "This is the ex-Mormon version, because even when you're cold, you want people to know you're not a Mormon," right? So now I was like, "Oh, they're gonna have to have something else," but they literally call them porn shoulders, like, your shoulders are a stumbling block for men and purity and blah, 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 and all this stuff. Um, Anyway, so but then that was something that I talked about. So it was like it was never about the shoulders. It was about control. Appearance control is about controlling behavior. Like it was never about the shoulders. So that's my explanation for that. People really like this one. Okay, so now we're in the isolation chapter. Isolation is interesting because I think our understanding of isolation has really changed. And like the reality of it has changed. Um getting I would say like in 1972 when my grandfather joined the Children of God, if you wanted to isolate an American citizen, you kind of had to take them away physically to your compound in Texas or Brazil because Americans are watching the same television, reading the same stories in the newspaper. So even if you were on opposite sides of things, there was like a shared reality, and now there just isn't, and you can be isolated. Like you can be in a cult in your bedroom, as we see in the Twin Flames documentary. Um, I still think overall, I'm willing to come out and say that the internet has been net good for destroying cults or like net harmful to cults because just all these OG cults that are falling apart um right now because their isolation was shattered by the internet. And this even became so interesting in COVID, where like I don't think any of us realized how many Mormons had been encouraged to just never get on the internet all the way until 2025 when they had to get online for online church. And then they started realizing other like Mormons do not understand Mormon history the way non-Mormons do because they don't read that bad stuff. They don't pay attention to it. Like they just had to build a children's cartoon to teach that yes, Joseph Smith actually believed in polygamy, but here's why it's okay to young children. And yes, that is quoted in the book about how cults love cartoons. Oh, I was so happy when somebody sent me that. I was like, yeah, wonderful to me. A sense of belonging. Damn it. Thumbs up. Thumbs up. Right. Isolation was pretty good. We didn't have that many issues with it. Distinguishable vernacular. I have to say, yeah.
To be more specific, having a different, how does your understanding differ? How does, how does, how does, ay, 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 having a different definition or words than the high control group had change your understanding of things inside the group or things that happened to you. This one is all about like evaluating the culty language. So cults always have their own internalized language. Um, and that's the hardest thing. This is like you have to. It's mind control. And that's one of the hardest things about getting out of it. I've definitely met a real life Scientologist. There were just three that ran into each other at my San Francisco event. Um, Scientologists also strongly discouraged from television. And it's also true that many large cult systems, like now I'm talking Catholic Church, Mormon Church, Jehovah's Witnesses, even Seventh Day Adventists for sure, like have always been fine with having like levels of membership, right? So there are cultier levels as you go in. Which is also kind of true about we say about the military. Like the more specialized you get, the cultier it gets. Um, and that was even true of the Children of God. Like we had members who basically their kids went to school, they didn't do all the witnessing and fundraising and everything. And they would just, it was just like, okay, we let you be part-time members and you give us your tithes. So we let you sort of just interact with it like it is a regular religion, um, if you will. Even though when we say labor, if you are giving money to an organization, we use money to represent labor in capitalism. So if you're giving money, you are also giving labor. Flip that around. If you are living somewhere for free and you are working full time, 40 hours a week in exchange for room and board, you are being exploited. Okay. Economics people suggest that you should never be paying more than 20, maybe 25% of your income in housing costs and living costs. Um, that's part of the problem with America right now is so many people are having to pay so much more than that for housing, right? But one of the easiest ways to be exploited is if you are living somewhere for free. If you are living somewhere for free, it is fair to trade 5 to 10 hours max per week for room and board. I just like to say it very specifically like that because people will get all kinds of I don't believe any religions are cults. Religions are idea systems. Cults are groups that manipulate people and exploit their labor. I think, to me, I take every religion as seriously as I take Scientology, a made up thing. But no, no religions are cults. And yes, I think all cults are bad. Too vague. Okay. Vague and redundant. Vague and redundant. Could this broad be more closely tied or how to process that? Okay. Exploitation of labor is necessary to classify a group as a cult. I always say, like, it's the why. Like, people always get stopped at the what. They're like, "You did what? You believed what?" Even though every expert is like, "It doesn't matter what you believe. Fanatical devotion or fanatical hatred doesn't make something a cult." Um, Democrats are not in the cult of hating Donald Trump. Um, but yeah, if there's no exploitation of labor, it's not a cult. That's why they're coercing you and manipulating you, is to get your labor. And, like, that was so funny, 'cause that was just the piece I needed to remember, to understand, like, my whole life rather, not to remember it. Um, See, Michael, when you ask questions in a respectful, not challenging way, I'm very nice. Um, yeah, Papa, cool down. I'm gonna guess this is not your area of expertise, and you're just exhibiting the Dunning-Kruger effect for everybody. Thank you for that. That's actually, by the way, that's how you go after cults and win, is by going after them for exploitation of labor. That's why the people that just raided the TikTok's dance cult, Shekinah Church, went in with the IRS and a couple of other federal agencies. Um, I have recently done a video on my book recommendations about cults. I think it's probably in my book club playlist. So check that out. Um, Never again Rose Landing love the jacket. Are you sunset jacket owner? By going through the costs, the price you paid to participate, and what it cost you to survive and exit, is how you decide what's worth carrying forward, what to leave behind, and how to rebuild a life that's actually yours. They didn't get, like, taken down, but they got raided by the feds, and part of that was the IRS and one other important numbers agency that I never remembered. Um, yes, it's TikTok, that's called. That was the labor again. Like, there's always, and then, by the way, like, the Children of God was just the non-online version of that. We were a performance cult. Well, first we were religious prostitution, and then we were a performance cult. So actually, first they were just free recruiters, right? So when a cult is just building itself, people are just recruiting. That's a lot of the times the labor. Then it's labor to maintain, and to then labor to grow, and then usually there becomes some kind of product that you produce. So Yellow Delis are one of the financial arms of a cult called 12 Tribes. Shen Yun, the show, another performance cult, right? For Falun Gong, a Chinese cult. Mormon missionaries, absolutely, right? They pay their own way. When I found that out, I was absolutely floored. Um, and I'm putting the door knocker literally is saying, as he's getting on his chessboard square in the musical, "Did you know that holding someone's passport is in the international definition of trafficking?" Which I've also linked in the book. Um, so this is great because I'm going to finish these edits today, although I do have to go because we're recording soon. Um, um, and tomorrow I'm going to go Probably spend most of the day at the Veterans Sit-In in DC. And then I'll come back to start reading to the internet. I'll live stream for sure if I have internet. I mean, 360 people can't leave the US. There's no point. I'm going to be like, okay, it's time to leave the US. Just everyone is going to have to make that decision for themselves. I've decided to stay and train the revolution and try to narrate this our march toward dictatorship. Okay, I need to sit and think about the overall takeaway. That's where we'll stop. I said there was rounds fired at helicopters, and I know this because I was a helicopter intelligence officer, and that's pretty much all I'm going to say about it. I know people have been told that that is a false story that was spread by racists, and in most cases, that is probably true about these things. In this case, I have seen the storyboards of the things. And even if you think you're firing in the air to get helicopters' attention, helicopters can't fly there because you've put bullets in the air. Yeah, but when people say, so first of all, anytime people say you're free to leave anytime you like, you're not free to leave anytime you like because you just don't have to tell people they're free to leave when they're free to leave, right? So like anytime someone's saying that is just simply not valid. And people say that about America. Like if you don't like it, then leave. Like fuck you. This is our country. If we don't like it, we can change it. Um yeah. I mean, Trump is trying everything to control the government. Everything. This is what I've literally been saying since election day, y'all. He is going to test every check and balance of America. And then you guys come back and you're like, he's testing a check and balance. You were wrong. Like, he's trying everything. He's trying to be a dictator. Painting our side of the border wall is a great example. You will never be able to keep people in America or keep people out of America. There is no way to close, to like control. There's like 4 million square miles of border. It's 4 million square miles of territory in the United States, 3,000 miles of borders, like with two friendly nations above and underneath us, two giant oceans, and a Gulf of Mexico that they can't even find anymore. You just give them a bad map and they'll get lost. Like, yes, trying to be a dictator, Carl. If you pull your head out of your fourth point of contact, you might actually understand that when someone is a complete dictator, they have controlled communication. So, literally, if you're talking shit about someone on the internet, that person cannot be a dictator. Okay? Now it's time for you to sit down, clutch your man pearls, and listen to people that know more about what they're talking about than you do. Someone I assume is not an expert of dictators and tyrants. Have a day. Stickers attached. Yay. Okay, I'm gonna start saying bye now because it's time to go. Check on my book. You can listen to me read it to you on Spotify Premium or anywhere else you get your audiobooks, including 500 library.